Hey, Smirk here. I love hot dogs. So guess what today's game is about? Today's game is called Game Time Glizzys, and it was developed by Typotron and was published by Typotron Games LLC. It was released on November 10th of 2023 and normally costs $5 US. As of the time of this recording, the game has 3 reviews in total, 2 of which are positive and 1 being negative, which currently leaves this game with a 66.66%
Repeating, of course.
recommendation rating. Though there's a handful of Steam key reviews, the game seems pretty favorable with 5 in favor and 1 against, but alas, I've chosen to only look at Steam registered purchases since that's all that matters for its store page rating. In Game Time Glizzys, you come back from vacation to find your hockey rinkside glizzy stand in disarray after it was left in the care of some lad named Ace. Most of your appliances are busted, Yelpers have been publishing hit pieces on your location leaving you in shambles, and to top it all off, the bank company is tired of being left on red and have decided to repossess your goods if you don't pay your $1,000 loan in full at the end of the 7th day. Or is it the 5th? Or is it the 10th? Well, it ended up being the 7th. Anywho, at your fine dining establishment, you simply do what you do best. Throw some glizzies on the rollers, warm some buns, sometimes slather some ketchup and mustard on them, and feed the horde of hungry humans hampering for your heavenly hottie hogs. If you so choose, you may repair your damaged appliances at a limited rate of 1 per day, which will enable them, allowing customers to order drinks, additional toppings, and fries. You can even repair the second register so you can handle twice as many orders. These will allow you to make more money, but this will complicate your process as you're the only person running this shop. Throughout your 7 days, you'll be in close competition with your rinkside competitors, in which you'll have the ability to sabotage their operations, as Ace is one sussy bus boy and will cut their power, break their equipment, or even commit robbery. Be mindful though, if you're climbing your way up to a 5-star restaurant, your competition may do the same to you. Though they won't rob you. They're not that lowly. Or they just don't have friends like Ace. I do think it's funny that you can run a successful establishment where your main export is only plain hot dogs or hot dogs with ketchup and mustard. Like, someone can't even order water if they want to. You're telling me there's people out there who will order multiple plain hot dogs without needing anything to wash it down with? The game takes about 40 minutes on an average playthrough to play through all 7 days and features several achievements. I was able to get all but one after about 4.5 hours, and unfortunately I'm not really interested in getting that last one right now, but we'll talk about that later. Anywho, that's about all the foundation we need, so let's get right into what I liked. Overall, this game has a lot of things going for it. I'll start off by commending the visual design. All the models are fitting and appropriate. From the hot dogs to the patrons to the rink in the background. When your equipment, such as the roller grill, gets broken by a hockey puck, the puck shows up for a split moment before disappearing and sending your glizzies all over your kitchen. As a slight, I wish I could tell easier if I had put cheese and chili on a hot dog since they overlay each other almost entirely, but it's not a big deal. Since I briefly mentioned my patent-pending floor dogs, a funny thing that I wanted to mention is that cleanliness is a non-factor for your restaurant. You get 20 seconds to prepare your stand, but 20 seconds isn't a lot of time, so what I ended up doing is just going in and out of the walk-in and throwing the ingredients I'd need throughout my shift onto the ground. There's at least a small handful of folks in this very arena rink who I gave a glizzy to where it was resting on the floor for several moments. The 3-second rule became the 3-minute rule when I was working. And do you think for a moment that these people got fresh glizzies? No, they were sitting on the line, probably since the start of the shift. Oh well. They didn't seem to mind. In the realm of sound design, I thought the ambience of the glizzy stand was pretty above and beyond. There are some fitting sports arena songs that will play seemingly at random to drown out some of the everyday ambiance. And there's some voice actor work here that sounds like it was voiced by people that care, and that comes through in their short performance. There's quite a few announcements over the arena system that do successfully instill the illusion that you're at a sporting event. Sometimes the home team wins, sometimes the away team wins, sometimes your shifts are really long because the game keeps getting stopped, and those variances can really bring the game to life. Though when you do your 3rd, 4th, or 5th playthrough, which is definitely necessary if you're trying to get all the achievements, there isn't enough variance, and some of the announcements will start to wear on you. Though, the developer did send a minor update this morning at 5:39 a.m. that may have solved that last bit for me. Then when it comes to gameplay, this game is highly intuitive and gives you ample things to engage with, causing your shifts to fly right on by, and you have the choice to make things as complex or as simple as you'd like. You can choose to sabotage your enemies, but I didn't have to. Regardless of your mercy, you will have to repair pucked appliances or resolve power outages that can randomly hinder your operations. You could enable the second register to double your intake, but that was probably the most stressful casual gameplay I've ever experienced. I was able to pay off the $1,000 loan in 7 days with nothing more than enabling the cheese topping and serving nearly all of the orders successfully. As a small thing, I thought it was considerate that I could skip the phone calls since those would have gotten tiring fast on anything past my first playthrough. I really did enjoy the gameplay elements, and I probably would have gotten all of the achievements had I not had some trouble. And there it is. Let's move on to what I liked a little less. The least of the offenders is that this game is pretty easy to take advantage of with 2 exploits. The first is that on certain days 1, 2, and 4, there are phone calls that will officially start your 20-second prep phase for your shift once they're over. You can just not answer the phone and you'll have as much time as you want to prep. The only cost is your sanity, as that ringing phone will begin to wear you down. I might suggest here that the prep phases are longer, maybe a minute, with the ability for the player to start their shift on their own somehow and perhaps just negate the need for the phone call if the player chooses not to answer. Following that, one other exploit is that you can put raw hot dogs in warmed buns and serve them to your customers, thus my video title. This developer is pretty quick at hotfixing stuff, which is great, so I expect this to be patched now that I've ruined the Glizzy industry's best kept secret. After the exploits, there are some frustrations caused by some controls. To pick on the tablet, you have to press A on your keyboard to go back to the homepage and S to put the tablet down. I really wish there were buttons on the tablet to do either of these functions, or at least let escape put the tablet down quickly. Another one is that there is no restart button in the pause menu. This pertains to me pretty heavily, as the one achievement I couldn't get was the perfect game achievement, where you have to finish a playthrough with no failed orders. If you want to restart your session, the only way out is to close the game and reopen it, which is just a bit much. On the smaller side, if you want to pay off your $1,000 loan in one go, you have to hold the plus button for a hot minute since you can't enter text and there's no pay in full button. Lastly, the serving bell. You can in fact hit this bell a bunch of times and it will cause a failed order each time, even if you're not actively serving anybody. There was only one time where I accidentally hit the button when I meant to place an order on a tray, but that's a me problem. I just think it'd be nice if the button was inactive or had no impact outside of active orders so it doesn't unintentionally ruin a perfect game run. Lastly, the most dastardly is all around that perfect game run achievement. I tried this morning to get this achievement, and at the end of my 6th shift, I found that I had a failed order. That gameplay footage is currently playing in the background, sped up for your reference. I don't know when this happened, I don't know how this happened, I even replayed the footage to myself, and I never got a thumbs down rating, which usually indicates that you failed to serve a customer. This usually happens when you don't start an order fast enough, or you fail to serve an order in time, but I purposely only ran one register so I didn't get overwhelmed. I don't really know what I did wrong, but this was the single biggest point of contention for me. I may try again after I publish this video, I may not. Hey, editing smirk here. While editing this video, I saw that I got my failed order while paying the loan off on the tablet, which sucks. I suppose it makes sense that a custom order can come in while you're on the tablet since you normally would be sabotaging the competitors, but it also came in after my stand closed, which I've seen happen on other days, but that just sucks. I'm still sad. To rate this game as it is right now, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot despite some of the frustrations it gave me because this was a really pleasant game to experience. I think there's a significant amount of care put into this small project, and I hope the developer does more in the future. Anyway, that's about it. I hope this review made this game seem a bit more enticing, and if you need a link to the Steam store page, you'll find it in the description of this video. On your way out, don't forget to like the video if you liked the video. Feel free to comment your thoughts on the video, the review, or things you'd like me to review. Then lastly, please subscribe if you'd like to see more of my future content. If you'd be so inclined, please smack that bell's thick ass for notifications about future doings.